on everyone, it's Bales and welcome back to the channel. It's been about a month or so since we did, or maybe close to 2 months since we did a video with the AFL Fantasy season coming to a close, but we're back for the AFL Fantasy season 2024. The game's open and you better believe I've already made my first draft of a side. So we're going to go through a bit of a team review and see who I've currently got in my opening side, and then we'll obviously do a team review probably about a couple of weeks before the season is about to kick off. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys who I've currently got in my side. But before we do, as always, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss what's coming up on the channel. In the upcoming year, we're going to be going bigger and better than what we did this year. So make sure you get subscribed and get involved. And also, if you are, or if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you do leave a like. And if you do enjoy the video in the end, make sure you do leave a like as well. So, but yeah, let's get stuck into who is currently in my opening draft of a team. So first defender, as you can see, is Harry Sheezel. So you're probably seeing there's no Nick Dacos there, who's the most expensive defender. And a bit of a reason for that, I think he's very expensive. And the fact that he's got the buy in round 5, he's got the Finn McGuinness tag in round 4. It's just too many sort of flags. I know we said this last year, and look what he ended up doing. But I think this year's a bit different. With this opening round, it's going to surround a lot of curveballs for a lot of people. And it's going to be very interesting to hear like all the podcasts around the community talk about how we're going to be dealing with this opening round, obviously, because it's brand new. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but so with the sort of cards have been dealt, so we've got to do what we can with it. So yeah, I'm not saying Dacos, but yeah, Sheezel there. No Aaron Hall, no Jack Zeeble. I know he's expensive, obviously, after his first season, but I think he can go better, a bit of natural improvement there. And yeah, I just expect him to be the main guy back there. We have heard guys like Zach Fisher, Cody McKercher, even like a Hardiman might play back there. Luke McDonald's still there as well. So I want to see a bit if Sheezel's that main distributor. But if he gets that role, which I assume that he probably will, then I think he will be my starting, sort of my D1 to start the season. Coming in at D2, Cy Wanganeen Miller, Tim's mate, Gavin. Very happy to have him there at D2. I think he's underpriced. I think it's the first sort of 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds was sort of a bit inconsistent. Put up a couple of good scores, few poor scores. Still put up some poor scores after that as well. But I think, again, entering his third season, I think it is now. Jack Sinclair, going to get always going to get the attention. Sinclair will Wanganeen will sometimes get that attention as well. But I still expect to go to Sinclair at times, meaning I think Gavin can run free. So I think price 91, I think put 95 to 100, so 4, 5, 6 points on that, on top of that. And I do like him as a bit of a value play there as well. Coming in at D3, I've looked a bit at Hayden Young. I do like him there. But at the moment, I've got Keely Coleman. Again, he's got the buy in round 2, which is the only sort of curveball with him. But I think his value is just too good. We saw in the grand final, he was on, 100 at halftime or pretty close to that. So I think there is value coming in with him there, and the price at 628k is just, for me, it's just too cheap to be ignoring him. So for me, he's going in there at D3. D4, Heath Chapman, again, just really, really cheap, under 500k. He's there. I want to watch him in the preseason, but I do think he's some good value there. So he's there at D4. D5, for me, Zach Williams, 442, so cheap. And we know that he's averaged over 90 in the past, and for stretch he's gone near 100. So for me, I think he's, as long as he's fit and in the team round 1, obviously the good thing is we got to look at him in that opening round as well. But for me, if he's playing round 1, he'll be in the side. So, but there are 2 defenders already that have got buys in the first 5 rounds, and then Nick Caulfield coming in at D6. So in those 6 defenders, 2 of those guys will have a buy in the first 5 weeks. Obviously, Coleman and Williams will have the buy in round 2, but the rest of the guys don't have buys until obviously the mid-season buys kick in. But Caulfield, under 400k, change clubs, gone from obviously St Kilda to the Bulldogs. If his body's fit, I think we see that he has got a bit of a scoring pedigree there. I expect that he'll be able to sort of score okay at the Dogs. So if he's there in round 1, I will be picking him at a good price. Dan Curtin and Riley Hardiman are on the bench. For me, I think Dan Curtin comes into that Adelaide side, and I think he plays round 1. Hardiman, I think he might be in North Melbourne's team, but obviously have to see how he goes in pre-season if he gets in the side. But it is also good. I do like to put a bit of money on my bench in my first few drafts of a team, and then if we get some 200k guys like for Toby Pink or something like that plays, just go one of those guys down, get a little bit more money, might be able to put that on the field. But I like to spend up on the bench, to start the season there. But yeah, so that's who I've currently got there. Moving to the midfield, where the big boys are. So Andrew Brayshaw is my M1. He wasn't originally in my very, very first sort of... I made 2 changes from what my original draft was. I sort of wanted to tinker a little bit with it because I wasn't happy with a few of the players I had, because I had probably too many of the opening round bye players. The players who have buys in the first 6 weeks. So Brayshaw's there. I think, again, he had a little bit of a down year last year, like priced at 110. I think he can go 115. I think he could be a little bit of value, but the fact that he just doesn't have that opening round fixture, meaning he won't have a bye, I think adds a little bit more to him. Guys like Errol Goulden, Tom Green, who I'm big fans of both those players. I think just the fact that they've got buys and they are over $1 million is just a bit of a concern for me with starting. I love Goulden. If it wasn't for that opening round buy, Goulden would be my M1 without a doubt. But yeah, Brayshaw there at the moment, I think he's a little bit underpriced. He's got some good fixtures as well, which is also very good. So for me, he's there. M2. Shouldn't come as a shock to many people that this guy's in my side. Rory Laird is at M2. So I'm going to be probably talking him up in the preseason. Everyone knows this. It's in my contract. I've got to talk about Lairdy in the preseason. But in all seriousness, though, 986k, it's expensive, right? And people are going to say, oh, you're only saying this because it's your boy Lairdy. But I think there is a bit of meat on the bone there. I think he could be a value. And people are going to say, oh, Bale's like, shut up, whatever, we don't care. But I'm not going to go on a 5-10 minute sort of spill on this. But Roy Laird, round 1, GWS Fid 7, he was sick. It was hot. Obviously, we know the weather was obviously bad. He got tagged, I think, in rounds 3 and 4. And I think there was another tag in like round 10 against Gold Coast. So there's 3 tags there. I don't expect tags to be going to Laird this year. I expect them to be going to Jordan Dawson. We saw in the second game against Port where he did get one of those tags, he didn't get tagged. And Gold Coast, I don't expect them to be tagged. There was another tag. Then the other one was Freo. I don't see them tagging much this year, but if they do, it'll be Dawson. I just think that there's a bit of value there. He got injured for another game as well against St Kilda. So yeah, I know all the stats about Lairdy, so that's why you're probably thinking, how's he knowing this off the top of his head? But yeah, so for me, I think he's a little bit underpriced, but worst case, I think he goes at 110, and you're sort of getting what you pay for. He's priced at 109.2. I think you'll get that. If not, you could get a bit more. So for me, I think Lairdy's a little bit of value, but obviously each their own if people don't agree. That's fine. I'll die on the hill if Lairdy fails. So but yeah. Moving to a few other the value mids, Jack Steele. And also the other thing with Laird, he doesn't have the buy. So that's another good thing with him. Jack Steele is next. Again, extreme value. Priced at 97.9. So 98. Priced at 98. 884. This is the cheapest Steele's been for a fair while. Obviously, we know last year was essentially injured for the big majority of last year. So I think he can go back to 110 at least. Or we see him go at 120. I don't know if he's going to go at 120. Sort of in the sort of the way St Kilda are playing now compared to what they were a couple of years ago. But I think 115 could be on the cards if everything goes right. I expect sort of that 107 to 110 sort of mark for Jack Steele, which is good value. It's a bit like Bont and guys like that last year where they're priced in the high 90s. They end up going 110. Obviously, Bont went, 117 or whatever. So I think that Jack Steele could be is a good value. I want to see how he looks in the preseason, but all reports is he's training fully, so which is good. So at the moment he is currently at M3, M4. Another guy that had a bit of an injury riddled 2023 is Luke Davies-Uniacke. Again, I expect North Melbourne got some good obviously picks in the draft. They got some sort of just a couple of new recruits there as well. I just expect North Melbourne to improve once again. I think LDU is the head of the midfield. We know this. Obviously, he's going to get tagged every now and again. We did see in games last year he get tagged, and he still got to a 75, 80 plus score. So I'm not too worried about having these 50s and that they had a few years ago when he cop attention. But I think he's going to go better. I think priced it in the 97.4. I think he can go 105, 110. So for me, I do like LDU. Coming in M5 for me, Sam Walsh. So he got the 5 sort of premiums there. Walsh, we know he's great value. 854. Obviously missed a fair chunk of the start of the season with obviously that back surgery or back injury that he had. And sort of had started first game was great, but then slowed a little bit after. Came good in the finals. Had a really good final series, as we know. So yeah, for me, I think Walsh is good value. Again, the only thing that's sort of making me worry about a bit with Sam Walsh is that opening round bye that he'll miss round 2. So for me, that's sort of just got to sort of weigh up whether I start him or not, even at that good value, missing a midfield premium in the first couple of weeks. But for me, he's currently there at the moment. That's a bit why I'm also fading Tuke Miller at the moment, because I can't have both. Tuke was in my original side with the 2 changes. I went and had Tuke up to Brayshaw. I had Tuke originally there, but I just think I can't have both when they're missing in the first 3 weeks. But yeah, moving to the rookies, I think they picked themselves at this current moment in time. Obviously, we'll see close to season, but Colby McKercher is the first one there. Obviously, number 2 draft pick. I think he's going to be on a lot of people's sides if he's there in round 1, which I think he will. Riley Sanders is there at M7. I think, again, with Bailey Smith going down, I think there's a spot in that team for him, and he'll be there. And then coming in at M8 is Jeremy Sharp, who obviously moved from Gold Coast to Freo. There's a vacant wing spot. I expect him to be filling that spot and will be there as my M8. On the bench, Darcy Wilson, I think, will get some gains for St Kilda this year. We'll see how obviously it goes, but I think he'll be there. Mid-forward status as well is handy on the bench to have that flexibility. And then Jai Clark as well is there. Had a bit of an injury-riddled first season at Geelong, but I expect with an ageing team at Geelong, they're going to want to get games into guys like Jai Clark. So I expect him to be playing early and often. And yeah, be a good bench rookie. Moving on to the rucks, which is a bit of, it's going to be interesting to see what a lot of people go with. I think that there's probably 3 standout options at the ruck, but some people might pay up for an English or a Marshall. I'm not going to be doing that this year. They're just way too expensive, over $1 million, when you've got a few of these options under 900k, so a lot cheaper than those guys. But my R1 is Brodie Grundy. I think it's going to be a lot of people's sides. 677k is so cheap, so cheap. Average of 75 last year. Obviously, we know he can go a lot better than that. I think comfortably 95 plus is well and truly on the cards if he's that main ruck at Sydney. I think he can go 100 plus if all the chips fall correctly. And yeah, I just think extreme value. The good thing is we get a look at him in the opening round before round 1. And I don't mind a player like Grundy missing a game in the first 5. I think he's got the bye in round 6, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Round 5's got the bye, sorry. So, yeah, I'm not fussed about missing him there just because he's way too much value to be missing. And then my R2, I'm going to the island. I didn't go to the island last year at all. I was tempted to, but I never did. Tristan Cherry. So, Xerri Island, I'm travelling there this year. I think, again, Goldie being going to Essendon, I think is great value. And, yeah, 580k is too cheap to be ignoring. Max Gawn, I'm tempted to pay up for him. I think he averaged over 110 when Grundy wasn't in the side in the back half of the year. So there's a lot of value on a guy like Gawn. I'm just going to get what Gawn's priced at on the screen here. So yeah, Max Gawn priced 831, average of 92. So priced at 92. It's a lot of value. Could be 10, 15 points unders. So again, going to be a good watch. I'll be able to again watch. Melbourne have got they play opening round? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they got the one in round 6. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see him in the opening round how he goes. But a lot of people I think are going to be swayed in that opening round whether to go Gawn and Grundy, whether to go Grundy and Cherry, or whether to go Gawn and Cherry. So, but for me, Grundy and Cherry are there. Max Heath, my friend from last year, and a lot of people's friend R3 is going to be there for me again. I think as a ruck forward, unless we get a player that's playing, or if I haven't looked at fixtures, there's better R3 to loop. I might pick him instead, but at the moment, Max Heath's just got the spot there. Moving to the forward line, Jack Macrae is going to be my F1. Obviously, forward line's going to be very, very interesting to see what people go with this year. But the fact that Buddy Smith obviously won't be there, obviously with the ACL injury, won't be there for the whole year. I think Macrae, I think he saw about 45% CBAs last year. I think a little bit of a bump to 55%. Hopefully 60+% would be fantastic. But I do think that Bont, Libba, they're in there. They're not moving. Treloar's the only guy that might move out there a little bit more. Macrae's still in sort of top 4 mid, so I'm not really worried about him just completely playing forward. We obviously know Bevo can do some different things, but I expect Macrae to be in there a fair bit. And with the lack of options in the forward line, I think he's just you know what you're going to get. At worst, you're going to get what he's priced at. He's priced at 91.8, I think, or 92. So I think worst case he goes there. I think he can go 100 plus. I think he can get back to 100 to 105. He's got the ceiling of 120. I don't think he's going to go and average 120, but he's got that ceiling there that he can sort of go for stretches and do that. So for me, he's going to be there. F2, I've been tossing up a couple of 2 names. Sam Flanders is there at the moment. So he's on the screen there, you guys can see. Flanders, great value, 809k, priced at 89.6. Back half of the year, I think he went well in excess of 100. So for me, great value. I think he's at least 10 point unders, if not potentially 15, 20 points. He could be F1 by the end of the year if he's got that role. Be interesting to see how he looks in pre-season. But I'm also looking at Dylan Moore as well. I'm quite keen on Dylan Moore, actually. Priced a little bit cheaper than Flanders, but with Hawthorn getting a few sort of players in there in the form, especially a guy like Nick Watson, I think will play. I just expect Dylan Moore to be pushed more into the midfield and further up the ground if it's not in the midfield. So I think worst case you're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to get a 90, 95 average, but I think he can go and push 100. We've seen stretches where he's got a ceiling. We know that. So I'm quite keen on Dylan Moore. And the fact that he doesn't have the bye in the opening 6 weeks, whereas Flanders got the bye in round 3, but Dylan Moore doesn't. That's what's potentially going to sway me maybe to Dylan Moore. But again, it'd be good to sort of get a bit more information about this opening round, what other people are going to do. But yeah, Flanders there at the moment. Taylor Adams is F3. Again, another guy that's got that bye, so that's sort of, I'm not sort of sure about having Flanders and Adams there. But they're both there at the moment. Adams, good value, under 700k. No Mills for, I think, for the majority of the season. He might come sort of second half of the year. If not, might miss the whole season. We just don't know. But new club, I think he'll go into that midfield. I think he will spend time forward. He's not going to be that guy that spends 90% mid like he did like in his prime years at Collingwood and then even at the Giants. So, but yeah, for me, Adams, good value in the forward line, good where there's limited options. So for me, I like him. Zach Fisher is coming in F4. I think if he goes back to that half-back role, I do like his chances of being a good value pick. Priced at 69. Well, is it priced at 69? He played obviously 12 games. Roughly about that. Yeah, priced at about 69. I think he can, if he's in this half-back role, I think 85, 90 could be on the cards. So that's near 20 points of upside. So, it will be 20 points if he goes 90. So I think for me, he's a good value pick and he's there at the moment. A bit of a pre-season watch to see how North Melbourne sort of put these players in their positions. If McKerches goes back there, if they put Hardeman there, if Fisher's back there. But all reports is that Fisher will be playing in defence. So I like him as a pick in the forward line. And then a couple of rookies. So we've got Finlay McRae there at 310k. If he's in that Collingwood team round 1, he's been tearing up the VFL. Obviously, we know big scores there. I think there's a spot for him, obviously, with Adams gone, and I hope that he gets that spot. So, yeah, for me, he's there at F5, and we'll see if he gets that spot in round 1. Then Harley Reid, who will be locked in pretty much everyone's side, mid-forward, 300k. There's not really much else to say, really, other than I think you just got to pick him if he's there round 1. So, yep, I like the number 1 draft pick. He's just going to get plenty of opportunity in the Eagles team. I think he's going to spend time in the midfield. I think he's going to play in the forward line, obviously at times as well. I don't think we can expect like a Sheasel level year where he goes and averages in excess of 90. But if he averages 60, 65, then I think we'd be pretty happy with that. And obviously, if he goes more than that's fantastic as well. Zane Dersma on my bench is F7. There's a chance that I go like for example, Adams down, put Dersma on the field and have 3 rookies, or if Finlay McRae doesn't play, go much and a guy like Elijah Sardis or someone like that, and play Dersma on field. But at the moment, he's my F7. Sean Manor, F8. I think he's going to play for Geelong. Obviously, we saw what he's done in the VFL and in the VFL finals. But I think Geelong really like him, and I think he's going to be there around 200k forward. I think he's a good pick. I think he's the only 200k player I've got mainly on my bench, minusing Heath, and then who's in my the guy that's in my utility being Chris Burgess. He's just a bit of a placeholder there for the time being. But they're the only 3 guys I've got under that are basement. The rest of the guys are expensive, like Dersman 291, Clark 237, Wilson 249, Curtin 279, and Hardeman 234. So I've got money there that I can sort of cut a little bit if we've got these 200k guys. But I think it's going to be important to pay up for these rookies, because when we've got players on buys, we need sort of some guys to come onto the field for us and put up some solid enough scores. We drop off some poor scores in the first few weeks. And yeah, we can get sort of as many points as we can. So yeah, that's the team. That's what we're rocking with. My original first draft was I had Tuke Miller and Dylan Moore instead of Taylor Adams and Andrew Brayshaw. So at the moment I've got Brayshaw and Adams. Obviously, it's just going to be interesting. Guys like Coleman, Zach Williams I'm not counting just because he's so much value, but Coleman, Walsh, Flanders, even Adams to an extent as well. They're the guys that it's going to be interesting to see what we think of this opening round, because they're the guys that got buys in the first 6 weeks. And I'm just sort of unsure if I just want to eliminate all of them and have 22 players each week and take advantage of that, or if I'm happy to have a couple. Grundy is not a question. I'm happy to have him in there as long as he looks good in the preseason and then in that opening round. And Zach Williams, as I said, I'm fine having as well. It's just the other guys I might sort of chop and change with. But that is the team that we're rocking with. So obviously plenty of content to come in 2024 as well. So obviously the opening video, potentially podcast with Tim before the end of the year. So we'll have to see. Just stay tuned to the socials to see if we get a podcast out before the end of the year. But if not, there'll be one early in 2024, and we'll go through sort of our opening teams, which can be really good as well. Chatting to Tim and sort of bouncing his thoughts about what he's going to be thinking about with this opening round. And obviously when we get all the other pods starting as well, I'm interested to see what all the guys in the fantasy community think of the opening round buys. But let me know in the comments below what you guys are looking like. Put your teams in below. Let me know who's in your team. If you've got any questions regarding sort of who you like, any sort of just any picks, like who you're thinking, any questions, sort of 50-50s, put them in the comments below. Let me know. Also, let me know what you think of the opening team as well. Let me know if you like the players there. Let me know what you think of Lairdy this year as well. But if you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. It'll be very much appreciated. Always appreciate the support you guys show, especially last year. We massive sort of increase in terms of subscribers and like sort of views and everything, which is fantastic. So hopefully we can go even better in 2024. Make sure you do leave a like on the video if you did enjoy the team reveal. And just get ready. I can't wait. We got the time is there. 83 days to go until the round one kicks off, and obviously there's less than that before the opening round. Then obviously pre-season, so it's going to be so quick. It's going to go really quick. But yeah. So thank you guys very much for tuning into the video. Turn notifications on as well, so you miss it when other content's coming up, and then you get notification when I do upload content or go live. Obviously I won't speak to probably everyone before, but hope you guys do have a very good Christmas and have a sort of safe Christmas and spend good quality time with your family and friends. And if you are just going solo and just meet by yourself, hope you enjoy the time alone and have a good Christmas as well. And hopefully you guys have a new year. Hopefully speak to you guys very soon with potential podcasts, hopefully. But yeah, until the next video, probably in 2024. But I'll catch you guys then. Have a good Christmas and New Year, and we'll catch you guys for a big and huge 2024. So follow my socials as well. They're on the screen and also in the description below, so make sure you're going to follow those. But yeah, until next one, I'm out. Cheers.